What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Tazz Knows Podcast, and I am your co-host, Nini. Hi, guys!
Hi, Nene.
This is Jeremiah Lawson. For some that don't know, Jeremiah is one of our fighters at Warrior Evolution MMA. He's been training with us for almost 4 years, and this is going to be his fourth upcoming fight. So we are super excited. Hi, Tazz. Hi, Jeremiah.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I don't know how to follow up that kind of introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm well. I feel good. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I knew I was gonna get interviewed eventually. So I've always been practicing answers. So I hope that my answers come out clear.
We gotta mix up our questions now.
I'm prepped. I'm well prepped, so I should be wrong.
One of the things that I like, because we had asked you to do the podcast before your last fight, but you requested to wait because you wanted something good to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Even though since the time that you started, I like to think most of what you've experienced has been good. Most of my experience coaching you has been good. I've said it so many times that you're a special athlete that remembers things so much better than I do, because you've come out of grappling matches and be like, I should have done this. I was doing too much of this, not enough of this. And I was like, dude, I'm going to trust your word for it because I got to watch it back before I give you any critiques. So in this episode, Jeremiah might have a better memory for certain things than I do. So I'm going to let you kind of take us to the beginning, because what I remember the most is Carla calling you the wrong name for about a month.
Yeah. What was she calling me? She was calling me
Elijah.
I don't know where she got Elijah from, but she was so stuck to it too. Like, she had to get herself burpees over Elijah.
Every time she said Elijah, she had to do
I don't know
burpees.
where Elijah came from. It wasn't even close. It ain't even like she was calling me Lawson. Like, I could see
Which she
Elijah.
does now.
Yeah, she called me Lawson now, but she ain't even know Lawson at that time. So I was like, where was Elijah coming from? But I was cool with it. But you say the beginner?
Yeah.
So what about the beginner? Like,
how'd you find us? Like,
okay, so
what got you into MMA?
Okay, so I was always a fan of the sport,
Mm.
but I just never knew how to start. And it was one of my New Year's resolutions was to check out an MMA gym. And Rodney was just strolling down the street, and somebody gave him a flyer to some gym out south. So I kept it in my wallet because he brought it back to me. And I was like, if I don't check out this gym, I really don't want to do it. But at that time, I was a personal trainer at a LA Fitness, and Stefan walked into the gym, and he was just he had just competed, just got a medal, and he was just telling me about his experience competing. And so I was like, what gym is it? And he told me what gym. I saw it had 2 free days. You sell me every time with free. So I signed up, didn't get a response, because you know how like Carla reach out like, I see you are interested. I just showed up the next day that it was available in the morning, and it happened to be a grappling Thursday. Walked into the warm up, started the warm up. I dreaded it instantly. I was like, fuck, this might not be for me, because at the time I was working out hard. I was looking good. I felt like I was one of them. And then that wrestling warm up started no hoe. So I was like, damn. So in the midst of like doing, I think, crab walks, I was like, fuck, this is probably not for me. And then I went through the basic classes, and I was like, I can't be no bitch. Like, I can't not come back. And I was locked in. I didn't even make it to the second free day. Like, I was locked in instantly. And I was like, I remember asking Carla, I was like, can I come in every day? Like, do I have to only come in certain days? And she was like, don't get in front of yourself. And she was talking about central nervous systems and all this stuff. And I was like, bro, I just want to work. Like, I don't care about none of that. I just want to work. And then after that, I've just been locked in ever since. Yeah. Like, I've been locked into the mornings. And it was all because Stefan was just hyped. Like, he came, Stefan energy is contagious. So I was like, all right, if they got him, and he was a happy-go-lucky little dude. I was like, let me see what's doing. When I got there, everybody was good spirited. It was good work. The basic class, I think I had, what was his name? I don't want to call him. I know his name's not Zach.
No, you had Zach, I think.
His name was Zach, right? The fireman?
Yeah.
Zach. I had Zach, and we started together. And yeah, he was pushing me through the basics, and then once I got to the basics, I've been teed ever since. Yeah.
Carla always gives me kind of a rundown of the people that that go through the basic class. You know, she's like, oh, you're gonna like this person, you're not gonna like this person. And because I got into the habit, like I would get too close to people too fast even before they signed up, and then they leave and I feel abandoned. So I kind of stopped trying to get close to people until they were locked in. But she did tell me that you were someone that was dedicated and very coachable, which is the coachability part of things is very important to me, because it's like, if you're not going to be coachable, then I don't know what you're doing here. You good?
Yep.
So she kind of told me you're gonna like them. And I remember, I think as soon as you graduated from the basic class, you came into the office and you formally introduced yourself, because I don't remember too much interactions. I don't interact too much with the basic for the same reason, not to get abandoned. Because it just happened. I got close to someone from the basic class because I thought he was real good, and then I get an email that he's like, "I'm canceling." I was like, "Fuck you, then." I liked him too, but whatever. But you stuck around, and as the head coach and the owners, it's sometimes surprising to me when people come in, because I've got a very like business mindset. So like handshakes are a big thing to me. Like, you come in, if you introduce yourself, that's a big thing to me. So and you started checking off all those boxes right away. And then I remember it was very early in our conversations that you said that you wanted to compete and you wanted to take it seriously. And I think you asked how long, and I told you I don't like to give time frames, because some people take a year to get ready. Like, Leo didn't fight until I think 3 years after he started. But you had your first competition 6 months in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was, I think, one of the quickest someone went from signing up to competing. Because you didn't have like any kind of wrestling background or anything. You were just a football player, right?
Football, track, all the free sports.
Okay.
Yeah, all the free sports. I was a part of those. And
then, because I had someone else that competed within like a few months of starting, but he was a collegiate wrestler, so he did the jiu-jitsu tournament, and he did really well. So for you not to have any kind of combat sport experience, to jump in 6 months in, and on top of that, win second place, that was big to me. I knew that you were a special kind of athlete from that point on, because I think it was that competition. You started, I did this, I got to do this, I got to do this. You could recognize the mistakes that were made, which is so rare and difficult to do, because if I spar with someone, I don't remember any of the wrestling matches that I had, the MMA fight, it took me like multiple watches to kind of pinpoint where I went wrong. You were able to kind of do that right away. Were you always the kind of athlete that was able to see where the improvement needed to be done right away, or just the years of being in sports kind of you developed that?
I think it might have been just the years of like playing sports, and then like, because I'm super duper expeditiously competitive. Like I'm super competitive. Like, I don't like to lose anything. So I always know why I lost, because I never want to repeat it.
Yeah.
And then when I got to high school, we used to watch film back. We used to watch back our races for track and field. So we used to do a lot of film study. So I got really good at just feeling where I was at and knowing like, this is the cause of either being successful or not being successful. Like, when I used to run track and field, we had to do like a 400 meter. That's one full lap around the track. And I knew if I was to inhale and breathe, my body was going to shut down. Like, I knew that the instant feeling, I knew exactly when most of the times I would do it. But I just think it's just from repetitions of playing sports just over and over. Because I done played sports since elementary school, because they let you start playing sports in like, what is it, 4th grade? Like 4th grade, they'll let you do flag football, track and field, basketball. So I've just been locked in the sports for so long, doing the camps. And I was always just a try hard. Like, I'll try hard in recess. Like, I don't want to lose nothing. So I was just really good at just building the habits of, this is what I do. So I just kind of understand me. Like, I understand me pretty well. So I could just, when it comes to my rounds, I could refill them back. Because Anthony just asked me the other day, he's like, what do you do to like understand like wrestling? And like, what's like your film study for like this? Mm-hmm. And I was like, respectfully, I just run them back in my head. Like, I don't need to see too much to understand like what I'm feeling. I could just go through it once and then just replay it and know like, this is what got me. Just don't do that again. And I got a pretty good safety sensor in my head where I know like, all right, this is gonna lead to danger. Let's stay away from danger.
I was just thinking about, because you have so much self-awareness. I think that's one thing that a lot of fighters and a lot of athletes lack, is that self-awareness of like, okay, this is what I feel, this is what I need to do. And you're pretty raw, like you're pretty honest with yourself, and you have this mindset of constantly trying to improve, right? But where does that come from? Because that's something that we're all learning to develop, is to have an evolved mindset, a growth mindset, right? So where does it come from you? Like, what is it, the environment that you're in at home, or is it like the people that you've surrounded yourself with, like your inner circle? What is that helps you have that growth mindset, essentially?
I think I was blessed with, for one, being the oldest of 4 siblings. So I always had to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then team sports for sure helped me evolve in being a leader, because I always just with wanting to win and playing team sports,
Yeah.
I could be great and everybody else could suck and we could still lose. So it's like, how can I bring everybody else with me so that we could all be good? Or what can I find in you to help us like elevate? And I just think like realizing that early. I think I learned that in elementary school, especially because I had good coaches. Like I ain't have like top tier like state level coaches, but I had coaches that cared about the sport and cared about us. So they'd give me real conversations. I had good teachers that'd give me like real stand up conversations. And that's where like all my mentorship and stuff came from, like coaches and teachers, like just looking out for me, because it was just my mom's. So it was my mom's, and then it was just me. So it was like, all right, if I was to mess up, they tell my mom's on me, and then they'd take sports from me. And that was all the fun I had. It was like, you do good in school, you get to go to practice. And my mom would punish me sometimes with, all right, you fucking up, no practice. And now I just got to sit at home. I ain't got no phone. I'm just sitting at the walls, looking at the walls and stuff. So I think constantly just being coached, being led by good, like older men, like this is what you need to do. This is how you become a leader. I remember my basketball coach telling me one time when it was like a playoff scenario type of game. And he was like, you guys could either try to be great today, or you could stand on the corner and talk about what you used to or what you could have did. And that always stuck with me. Like I even told my friend group now, I was like, we could shoot to be great, or we could talk about how we could have been great. And I got a fear of what I could have been. Like I never want to be what I could have been. And it's just so many like situations in my life where life reminded me like, it's either keep trying or get reminded what it could have been. Like one time I remember coming home from college, and I truly thought that I was gonna make it in football. Like if you watch my tape back, you'll be like, why'd you think that? But I truly believe that I was putting in the work. Like I was doing the work to be great, and I believe that you get rewarded for putting in the work. And I remember coming home from college after like, all right, this is my first semester, it didn't work out, I got to come back help moms. I remember Rodney asking me like, what's next? Because he believed that I was going to make it in football. And it was like, if he was able to see what I was saying and believe in me, that means he's watching everything, right? And that reality, when he asked me like, what's next? I'm like, damn, what's next? Like he was relying on me to be great. Am I great? Like, so it was just a lot of questions, and I had to do a lot of like deep diving into myself. Like, how am I going to be great for me, for my siblings, for my family? Like what's going to be the next, And luckily I found like motivational speeches and like videos when I was in high school. So I was always super duper motivated. Like I love motivational speeches. And I was able to just like dive into self. Like, all right, we got to work. We got to make it. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Like, what's your why? Like, that's a big thing for me. Like, what's my why? Why am I doing it? I was able to attach it to my siblings, so it made it easier for me to just suffer, and I could just go through hard times because it's like I'm doing it for them, And yeah, I think it was just like finding like the people that cared about me and attaching like, all right, we could suffer, we could do hard things because shit, they looking at you and they relying on you to do it.
Is that where your hunger for winning kind of came from? Because obviously everybody most people that are trying to be great at a sport hate losing. But you're someone that I've seen upset when you win. I think it was one of the first place grappling tournaments that you did. You were not happy with it. I was like, and you went in like saying, I'm coming out with a gold medal. And you came out with a gold medal, but that still wasn't good enough.
I won with a disqualification. That wasn't, and respectfully, I wasn't good enough that day where I felt like I was supposed to lose. Like I knew what my level of fatigue was. I was like, this was a losing performance. And bro just happened to reap me. And it was like, oh, disqualification. And I was just like, I can't accept. Like, it's first place, cool, but it's like, it's a participation first place. I'm not a fan of participation.
You were up by points though already in that match.
Yeah, but I needed to. The job's not done till I'm the.
So is it fair to say that for you the performance aspect is more important
than the end game?
Yeah, because of the leadership position that you were put in.
I think it's. I just need to do what I know that I could do.
Okay.
As long as I'm doing what I know I could do, the end result, I'm gonna still probably be pissed about it, but I just got to put my best foot forward. And if I don't feel like I just did my best, it's kind of like I know other people are watching, which is surprisingly other people don't be seeing what I be seeing.
Yeah.
But no, I can't lie. Like I just don't like lying. I think. Because I got to go home and sleep with it. And then when I close my eyes and it's replaying in my head, and then it's like, you really lost, bro. Like, you got to go place medal and you lost. Like, I don't know. It just feels like an imposter. I don't want to be an imposter. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I got all this, but I'm beating scrubs. Like, it won't feel the same. Because then I run into one of them and then I lose. And now I'm questioning, like, damn, was I one of them? I want to have a rap sheet of, I ran into good people. I beat good people. You can't tell me I'm not nice, because there's levels to nice for sure. I could run into somebody that's super duper really nice, but if I'm being nice, also, I'm cool with living with it.
So a fun fact about Jeremiah, he has a list. He has a hit list, and he does not forget his hit list.
I do. Nick just made my hit list.
Yeah.
Nick just made my.
You want to tell that story?
Oh, with Nick.
Nick, cover your ears.
Nick hit me with a. It's crazy because I had just complimented Nick because he was looking small. I'm like, damn, bro, you getting in shape. I like that. And then he was one of my rounds and he hit me with a nasty body shot, nasty liver shot.
Flying off the body.
First he kicked me. I was like, coach basically said, don't be a bitch. That's what I was hearing. He was saying other words, but he was basically.
I said fight through it.
He basically said, don't be a bitch. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to be a bitch. I tried to grab him. And then he caught me with a knee on the same side, and the bitch just came right up out me. I fell. But I plan on getting Nick back for sure. But I for sure I think that it just makes training fun. Like, I can't let you just, like, Aaron's on my hit list. I don't know if Aaron knows, but he's for sure on my hit list because he was the first person to bust me up. And, Aaron don't give no fuck. So he was just busting me up. So that he on my list. I kind of got Mauricio back, but I ain't got him back enough. Logan's on my list. Brandon's on my list. Brandon's on my list for a couple things. For my nose, he was too happy. He's undefeated. Like, I got a couple things where I could just hate on Brandon. He just give me like that extra push though. Like, the list is really just so I could just push to the next level. And it's like, all right, as long as I constantly have some people to go get, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be happy with it. Like, what's the it's an older guy that does jujitsu, the 10th Planet guy.
Sig.
He's on my list. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Sig.
He's on my list just because he laughs when we roll, and I don't like that.
Sig was actually the person that broke my nose the first time.
Yeah.
So he's always been on my hit list forever. Like, he knows that, and he's one of those. He's a tough guy. He has a strong fist, but he just jabbed me.
Yeah.
And he broke my nose, and ever since I was like, thanks to him, I have a deviated septum. But yeah.
Welcome to the club, Sig. Yeah. Sig is. Yeah. The first person that I worked with when I got to the advanced class, and I hated him. I swear I was never going to like him, and now here we are 15 years later, and I get excited to see him. But the fact that you have that hit list, but you've positioned yourself as a leader very early on, because even, you come to the evening classes for training camps, but you don't spend too much time in the evening classes, but the people at the evening class know who you are. They've seen your competitions, whether they were there to watch, whether they were competing on the same day. They showed up to the fights, and a lot of people look up to you. You know, but you're able to be honest with them, and sometimes that honesty isn't what they want to hear. But you've been one of those people to unite the gym, and you came in at a time where, you know, the gym's been growing, thank God. I felt like I was always missing kind of those leadership spots in the competition team, you know, because we've always had Aaron and Leo kind of held the fort down for so long as our only competitors, you know, and they did it for so long, you know. So once we started getting all the new people that came in, kind of when we got the new space on the fourth floor for Warrior Evolution, they can look up to the athletes, but they've been training for so long that I think a lot of the newer guys found it hard to relate to them, or almost got discouraged, like, I'm not going to be able to catch up with them, you know. And then you came along, and you came in as a newcomer that was able to compete quickly and win quickly, that it gave the newer guys like someone to look up to, someone that they can relate to. Like, he's just starting, he's putting in the work, and look what he's doing. Why can't I do that? You know, so as a coach, I appreciate that, as you know, because it sounds like you have a similar mindset to me, that it's not just the sport, but it's a family, it's a community, it's camaraderie. And that's something that I've always tried to build, but it's hard to build it just from the person running it, because we're supposed to do that. You didn't have to. You chose to, you know, and you choose to work with anybody. You work with, you know, the Aarons and the Leos to get better as a fighter. But then if someone's just coming up for their first time in the advanced class, you go over to them and you'll make sure that they're able to keep up, or they catch up and they know what's going on. What does it mean to you to have a united team from top to bottom like that?
I think it really just comes from like team sports, and knowing that as all the sports that I played, you couldn't just be great by yourself to get looked at. And especially when I played high school football, our team, we had some trash dudes on there. But we weren't going to be good if we couldn't bring the trash people up with us. Yeah. And I feel like that's the same for this. Like, I could get really, really good at martial arts, but if I can't inspire a young buck to get really nice, like now, and then down the road when he's really nice, well, if I can inspire a young buck to get really nice now, down the road when he's really nice, that's just going to help me get nicer. And that's always been my thing, because it's iron sharpening iron. And we're not getting like top level wrestlers just coming in. So we getting people that's starting from no sports, or sometimes sports, or hobbyists. And it's like everybody could bring something to the table. What can I bring out this person to help them expand where they at? Because eventually that'll help me expand where I'm at. Especially because we don't have too many big guys.
Yeah.
So if it's like, cool, if I can help the little guys get better, I can get better, and I could just work around what they could offer for me, to help me just expand my game. And I think the camaraderie aspect, like, it shouldn't feel like a chore. Like, it shouldn't feel like a chore to come to practice. Like, we should be able to walk into practice, and it should be like a loving environment. It should still be hard work, but we should be able to laugh. That's why I like the mornings. We be in there kicking it, and then they'll beat your ass still. But it's still like that team love aspect, and we all improving off each other.
You know, something that I really appreciate about you is that you come into the gym with a good spirit. And that's something that we can't do for you, because we all go through our struggles. We all go through our own issues. And the thing is that we were watching a little clip of Randy Couture talking about men's mental health, right? And how it's important to have that, and especially with a team, right? And I think what you brought in really good positivity at the gym. And I want to like give you a shout out from the time that, remember that one evening that you asked everyone to be in a circle and we all sat down together, and it was after the sparring. So it was hard sparring. Don't get me wrong, like all these rounds back to back, everyone's struggling. Some of us feeling like crap. Some of us feeling like, damn, I didn't do anything right. And we often feel like that, right? Because it's hard. but then you asked everyone to share something that they're grateful for. And that's new because, like he said, by standard, yeah, you have the coaches saying those things like, oh, think about something that you did good and stuff like that. But it's like, what do you know, right? You're just coaching, even though we've all been in that position. But you coming through the same struggles as everyone, you're going through your fight camps, but you're asking everyone to do so. So, like, where does that come from where you just feel like you want to give and you're just so positive? How do you develop that, especially when you bring that into the gym?
I think when I was younger, I used to be a little angry little shit. But it was because I was a small little shit, right? So it's usually small little shit to be angry. And I remember I remember New Year's resolutions. That's when I made all my jumps in life, really. I asked just to be more positive. I was like, I just don't want to be mad all the time. I just need to be cool. And then taking it back to like the coaches I done had, we always needed to do the extra work outside of what was just in practice. So it's like getting the extra routes in. But a lot of the times, like with football, we'd have to go recruit people to come play the sport. Like we'd have little numbers. I went to a decent little high school, but we wasn't like a good football high school. So it was at a point where we had to go recruit people. And it was like, I got to find a way to connect with you to make you want to come play football, because it's not even something that you want to do. So I think that just helped me build like that, being able to connect with different people and just build like a good camaraderie. And with the gratitude circle thing, I saw the Fighting Nerds did it. They were standing around. It was some video, and they was just going around talking about things that they were grateful for. And I was like, that's the type of camaraderie that people need, because and when I was thinking about it, I was like, everybody's going through something. And then you come to practice, you get the shit beat out of you. And then it's like, all right, I got to go home. Life sucks. I'm probably staying in the shed. This shit probably sucks. And then I come here, somebody beat the fuck out of me, and they give me advice. But little do they know, I'm really on the edge of like saying, fuck this shit. And I was just like, let's make people get out of their minds, especially because that practice was hard. Fight counts would be fucking dreadful. Like, you could hate your coaches, you could hate your sparring partners, you really hate everybody. Like, the only thing on your mind is hate. Like, I hate this shit, I want to go home. And I remember Brandon saying, like, this shit feel like a part-time job, like having to think about food. I can't even eat for real when I leave out of this motherfucker. So I'm just big on peace. Like, I'm just big on like finding your peace, being at peace, doing what just make you joyful. And when I was thinking about just doing the gratitude circle, I was like, everybody's going through something. And people need it. Like, people just need to know that, all right, you're in a safe space. You could speak up about anything. Nobody here could judge you. If they judge you, punch them in the face respectfully. But yeah, I don't know. I'm big on just peace, like just being at peace, like just being happy. Cause I'm a happy dude. Like I don't really got too much to complain about. I worked a lot to try to find my circle of peace. And I found that like grinding for my siblings, grinding for my friends and stuff. And forcing them into peace. Like, I used to force them into these conversations. We used to do like monthly checkups, weekly checkups of like holding each other accountable, where I just call my homies like, yo, what's going on? What you got going on? And force them into these conversations. Cause for me, we really ain't got too many places where it's like a safe place to talk to, or, it's like, it's homo, cause you asking me about my feelings and stuff. And I remember you just have to really just drill it into people like, bro, it's cool. Like, if you ain't got nobody, at least you got your friends. And that's what I was thinking about for the gym. If you out here and you just feel like you ain't got nobody, at least you have the gym. Yeah. At least the gym could be an escape. Even though when the gym is hard, you could still come to the gym and just have a conversation about something that you just needed to get off your chest and not feel judged about it.
You were a part of my top 3 favorite moments as a coach. My top 3 favorite nights. The night that you made your debut, Brandon made his debut, Snady made her debut. Like I said, for the longest, it was Aaron and Leo holding the fort down when it comes to fight nights. And I had only had 2 people fight on the same card, and that's Aaron and Leo. So this was the first event that we did where now it's 3 fighters, and you're all making your debuts. fighting is difficult, and we'll get to your experience now that you've had multiple fights. But there's something different about the first one because you're stepping into unknown territory. And as a coach, I feel something very similar. Like with Leo, I cornered all of his fights. Aaron had already had like 3 or 4 before I started cornering him, but Leo, I was there from the beginning to the championship win. I built a certain level of comfort cornering fighters after multiple fights. So, because I've seen what they do under pressure. I've seen, when they look good in the locker room, when they have a good warm up, when they have a bad warm up, because I've seen them win, I've seen them lose. When I'm cornering someone that's making their debut, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if the nerves are going to get to them, if the crowd's going to get to them, the first time they get hit real hard, if that's going to get to them. So now I had 3 back-to-back debuts in one night. So I didn't know what to expect. And that was the first. And every time that Leo and Aaron fought on the same card, if Aaron won, Leo lost. If Leo won, then Aaron lost. It wasn't ever an undefeated night. So I didn't want to put the pressure out there because, again, I didn't know what to expect. And Brandon went out there and he had the war that he had with his opponent. Took the first victory of the night for us. Snady was second. And she won in I think 2 minutes. She dominated her opponent.
A minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, something like that, right? And took the girl down right away, choked her out right away. Second win. So now it's like, all right, here comes Jeremiah. Here's the third one. And I knew it. I knew as soon as Snady was done and we walked back, and now I think there was only one fight between Snady and your fight. I told you, I was like, don't worry about what just happened. There's no pressure on you. Just focus on you. I know I said that. And I think you said, no, I'm not even thinking about it. How much were you actually thinking of that?
When you say don't worry, no pressure, that's all the pressure right there.
Bro, you see?
And then I got Brandon down there. He all excited. He's celebrating this win.
His way back in.
He's celebrating this win. I know everybody ecstatic about Snady. And then it's like, you try to have that poker face. It's like, yeah, I'm cool. But it's like, this is something that I ain't never did. I'm stepping out here for the first time. Was that the fight where they fucked my name up? Like the name, the weight. They said 155. I think they was confused. So I'm just trying to keep it together. I'm like, all right, cool. And I remember that fight so well because it was the first one. I remember getting punched like a couple seconds in because he blitzed me, which was a smart idea. You blitz the new booty because he don't know.
Because that guy had two fights.
I think
he's like, 1-1.
Yeah, he had 2 fights. Yeah. Shout out to Jaime. I fucks with him because I won, but if I ain't win, I wouldn't fuck with him. But he already had 2 fights, so I'm pretty sure the game plan was blitz his ass. He gonna get nervous because he probably was like, "This is how I felt in my first one." So if you just get on him, blitz his ass, you should have him. And I remember him coming out blitzing me, and I'm like, "Fuck, he in my shit already. He punching hard." And I remember watching his tape back, and I'm like, he don't even look like he punched hard. He punched the fuck out of me. First punch, mink. And I remember looking at the mat. Looking up, seeing the lights, looking up, seeing his angry face, and then playing in my head like all these people here to see you. You can't be the first one to lose. Oh. This all happened. This was like a 2-minute conversation in my head, but it was really like 3 seconds. And even if you watch it back, you won't even see it happen. But I remember seeing it like, damn, this like a movie. I was like, they did really good in the movies because this how the Creed movies be. I remember thinking all that shit at the time, but I was like, you can't lose because all these people here. You can't be the first one to lose. And I truly hate losing. So I would have been on fucking death row if I had lost. So, yeah, I remember just going through all that instantly. I was like, yep, can't be the first one to lose. But luckily, he fucked up by kept trying to grapple me. And then he kind of put himself in a fucked position for sure.
Took us to our first 3-0 3-0 night. That was, as a coach, obviously going 3-0, but going 3-0 with 3 people that are debuting. That was special. So now take us to what we don't like to talk about, the second fight. What was going on through your head to the lead up of the fight, to the fight, and then the aftermath?
I think usually, and this is from knowing cycles, when I do something the first time, I get kind of complacent with the process for the second time. And I'm not as locked in as I need to be for the second part of the process. And that goes from the first grappling tournament, I did great. second grappling tournament, I was cramping like a motherfucker. Just because I tried to cut too much water the day of, and with grappling tournaments, you gotta compete the same day. So I think with the second fight, it was a semi-complacency on the diet end. It was the nerves of fighting somebody that I couldn't see because he was debuting. And then the build up of knowing like he was this high level wrestler. I think I allowed that to eat at my dome. I was like, fuck, he a high level wrestler. He wrestled Jordan Burroughs. Like, you in the room with some high level dudes, and then when you look him up on Instagram, he training with some high level UFC fighters. So I'm like, damn, what type of wrestling this motherfucker though, that he in the room with these and they got me with him. But I want to go against raw people. But I ain't gonna sit here and act like it ain't a little nerve wracking, even though that's what I want. Like, I could want whatever I want. My flesh gonna be like, hey bro, what the fuck is you talking about? You know what you get yourself into? So the lead up to that, I was like, all right, I could keep some weight on and all this bullshit. And then I had my weight cut was it was a hard, super duper hard weight cut. I was depleted, and I remember waking up the next morning, I was drizzy. I knew I ain't had no fluid in my brain for sure. Like, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna get through it. Like, I ain't gonna be no bitch. Like, I'm gonna get over it. I can overcome this. And then I remember getting in there, and I messed up, where I won't do this again. I got in there and I was trying to think, but I don't think I'm at the level to be able to think yet. Like, I need to just get in there and react and let my body just work. But I thought I can get in there and I could think, oh, low kick, think of that move, jab. But when you thinking, you moving too slow. And that's something you learn in practice. And I just thought I was just above the program. I was like, I could get in here and think, like, even if I'm not feeling it, I could get in here and think. And I lost to somebody that was ass. Like, bro wasn't better than me. He didn't have no crazy grappling. Like, he wasn't an Olympic level wrestler. Like, he ain't do shit that I ain't never seen. He ain't have strength that I ain't never felt. I just wasn't there. And that's probably disrespectful. Do I care? No, because that's truly what I felt. Like, I don't feel like dude was better than me. I just felt like I was less than what I was supposed to be, and I allowed myself to lose. Because respectfully, me feeling the way I felt, I should have been finished. Like, he should have beat the shit out of me, and he ain't had shit for me.
I think it's important, one, to see the self-accountability part of it, because there were some mistakes that were made during the fight, but I think it's even more important realizing what you did, right? That you're not going to commit again. And that's one thing that I've been watching the interview with GSP, George St. Pierre, with Demetrius Johnson. And he talks about that, like how important it is when you lose a fight, you need to learn how to, like, what happened during the fight and not do that again. And he's like, we're not trying to stop you. Yeah, the goal is to not lose again, but doesn't mean just because you train so hard doesn't mean you're going to avoid losing a fight again. But the goal is for you not to lose the same way you lost the last time. So that's what you do have. And I've noticed that because that's something that you are doing yourself. We're not telling you, oh, watch your fights. Like, no, the coaches are not telling you watch your fights and learn from yourself. Like, you're doing that on your own.
I did not watch that fight of me losing.
Okay. But I mean,
I kept trying
but you
to
remember.
I remembered it. I remembered it. But I couldn't watch that shit back. I was so mad.
Yeah, but in general, like all the fights that you do watch, like your performances, and even when you're doing the grappling tournaments, you watch your matches. And then, like, the self-work that you're talking about, like the film study. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that no one's teaching you, right? And I think what I appreciated was when you did lose the fight. That's something that's hard for a lot of our fighters. And just us, right? We don't like losing. And you're very hard on yourself. You're like your worst critic. So when you lost that fight, like, what was going through your head? And how did you get through it? Because and this is just taking it further even more, especially when we were in class, and I think it was one of those fight nights, or no, it was like a sparring night, and then you basically went up to everybody and you can tell us what you said. And I just want to make sure that people know, like, this is the stuff that you're doing on your own. We're not telling you what to do. Like, you're stepping out of your own comfort zone. You're taking the initiative and leadership to be honest with people and just get through whatever you're going through, but you're doing it with everybody being there to support you.
For sure. So before we even got to that night, the night of the fight, what helped me get over the loss, was my stink fiance over here. She had booked like a little hotel room gathering party for us, and I was for one, I was against it because I don't like really spending money. But she was like, "You gonna do this? We gonna do this?" And what helped me was like the support group. Like all my friends was there, and they ain't look down on me. Because respectfully, you wanna be Superman for all your people, and that was one of my biggest fears, was losing in front of my peoples. Like I ain't want to lose in front of my moms. My brother got a certain idea of who I am. Like everybody, I think the image that everybody have of me is like this Superman. He can make it happen, right? So me losing, I was like even after the fight, I apologized to coach because I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. Like I know this doesn't, because I represent more than just me when I step in there. Like I care about representing the gym. I care about representing my family. I don't want people to think that I'm out here just doing shit. That's why I can't just be losing, because it's people that's attached to me that I don't want people to see my brother and they gonna talk shit about his brother. Like he could probably snap because who you talking about, So when like having that gathering afterwards, I apologize to them. And they was like, bro, you can't win them all, right? That's bullshit. You can win them all. I don't stand with that. But like one of my homie Eric, he was like, bro, you ain't gotta be Superman, bro. You out here working harder in this than most people are working in anything in their lives, bro. And they said, I'm your homie, and you doing something difficult, so you ain't gotta feel like you shit. Because that's what I was feeling like. I was feeling like garbage ass. I'm just like, bro, like I ain't nothing. And just to have that camaraderie around me, and they was like, bro, you ain't less than, bro. Like you out here trying some shit, you could lose, That helped me be like, all right, cool. I'm not worthless. Like I'm not beneath anybody. So then that led me to texting coach like, yo, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna talk to the class. Because I just wanted to let them know, like, for one, we're doing the right stuff. And I ain't want to discourage anybody, especially because if it's like the same thing of like, maybe they were seeing me as like this Superman. Oh, he's new. He came in, he competing, he doing this, but then you lose, and then you don't know what trajectory you could put the next person on just from seeing like a bad L. And I wanted to let them know, like, for one, the work's not gonna stop. I'm like still getting hand work. And these was my shortcomings. Like, don't look at like, oh damn, the gym couldn't do this. This is where I came short. This isn't a gym thing. This isn't a coach thing. This is where I came short. And this is what I believe. Like, I don't believe bro was better than me. I just wasn't better that day. And I'm super big on being honest. Like, I'm super big on being transparent, because who am I really lying to? If I sit here and try to hold this persona, if I don't tell you that I'm scared, like, what justice, who am I doing this for if I'm just sitting here lying? And that was my big thing. I was like, let me get in and talk to whoever there. Let me express myself. Brandon was like, I know you were pissed because you kept repeating the same thing about 4-5 times. I was on a TED Talk for like 15 minutes of just being mad. Like, I was mad because I was so mad. But yeah, I mean, because respectfully, I care about the gym. I want them to know that I'm going to put my best foot forward. That helps hold me accountable. Knowing that I got more eyes on me. And it's just like, if the outcome of the last fight wasn't well, I'd have came in and gave another speech. I believe in speeches. Like, shit, because you need to know what people mind at, right? If you planning on competing, it's good to know, like, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? Like, even when I help with like the grappling tournaments, what was you thinking? What was you feeling? Tell me what you got, and be able to relay it, so that, because people got to learn from your journey or your testimony or whatever you want to call it. Like, but if you don't tell them, they won't know, and I was just down on letting them know shit.
Thank you.
Yep.
I always tell people I'm learning through my students. I don't get to train with all the coaches that I've had like before. I'm not training full time anymore. So the time that I do get on the mats with my students, that's the times I'm going to get better. I give Leo a lot of credit for teaching me how to be the coach that I am, because I'll say it every single time. Leo had no responsibility to trust me as his coach for his first fight. It was me taking over the gym for the first time. I'm learning how to be a business owner. I'm learning how to be a full-time coach now. and he helped me kind of navigate those things. And I remember the night that he had his first title opportunity, he lost, and then Aaron lost earlier in that night. And then when Carla Nene and I got home, I asked them, I was like, I need a moment. And I asked them to leave the car. They went in the house, and I broke down. I felt like I failed at running the gym. I failed as a coach. But it lit a fire under my ass because I was like, I don't want to feel this anymore. And it put a certain pressure and responsibility on me that I think hindered me more than it helped me. And when you gave that speech, it kind of took that out of me, right? And you continue to help me evolve and grow as a coach, because people would always say is like, there's only so much you can do as a coach. My coach would always say the same thing. But hearing it from one of my athletes meant a lot more, because you're the one that was there. And when my athlete loses, like, obviously I feel like I failed them, and that night, the night that you lost, Snady also lost, so that was another rough night. And Nene can tell you, every time that someone loses from the gym and we have a night like that, I'm the first one that's trying to get out before anybody sees me. And when you grabbed me to apologize, I was on my way to my escape route. I was like, I got my stuff. You grabbed me. I was like, I can't not talk to him. I don't want him to feel like, he failed. Because honestly, like, I hate losing. So even with what I'm about to say, I kind of know what your response to me, because I know what I really want to say. But it's like, losing's part of the process, and I've had to learn how to lose. And when I was competing, when I lost more wrestling matches than I won. I lost my MMA debut, and it's the only time I was able to fight, so I got used to me losing. But that was kind of the fire that I needed to make sure that my athletes didn't lose. So when my athletes do lose, I feel like, okay, this is on me. I should have been a better coach. And I started looking back at the times where maybe I didn't say this the right way, or I wasn't hard enough on them. And when you said, I know you don't want an apology, I was like, and I don't need an apology. You still felt the need to kind of, and again, you talked through exactly what happened step by step in that fight, so I appreciate that, and I think that was the beginning of the comeback season for you as a fighter, for me as a coach. How did it feel coming back for the next training camp, having gone through that experience?
The nerves were for sure there, just because it was like questioning whether or not, like, could I do this for real? Like, can I be nice? But what really helped was seeing Brandon win. Mm-hmm. And me and Brandon are two different type of athletes, two different types of fighters. So what works for him don't completely work for me. But seeing him get it done, and he went out and got a finish, and I'm better than Brandon. I'm better than Brandon. So if Brandon can go out there and get 2 wins, I could for sure go out there and get 2 wins. So seeing him get the win for sure lit me, because I was like, for one, Julian thought Brandon was better than me, which was crazy. So seeing him go get a win and being in his corner, I was like, I was happy for him, but then I was like, he gonna think he better than me, and I can't have him thinking he better than me. So going into the camp, it's obvious, it's always gonna be the nerves. Like, they could lie, people could lie, like, I don't get nervous, I want to do this. Like, I enjoy competing for sure. I do this because I like the idea of competing. I like the idea of being better than people. And I think that I'm good at it. So that's my whole purpose of doing it. But I'm not going to act like I don't be nervous. So going into the camp, there's the nerves. And I was like, damn, like, can I do this? Can I go up against, dude was a wrestler. Can I go up against a wrestler? But it was me reassuring myself. For one, I'm a grappler. You could wrestle. I know how to grapple. And it was really just me reassuring myself and putting myself in them positions of, this gonna suck, you gonna get tired, just get it done. And then I had good training partners. I don't know why I'm so burpy. I'm super burpy, but no burp. Like, there's nothing coming. Hold on. We're not sponsored by Gatorade. Yes. But luckily I just had training partners that, was pouring into me to keep me going. Like Aaron to go out his way on Sundays and get me in like we call it fight church, where he'll just break down stuff for us to just drill. And that's a blessing because I feel like it's just the extra work of like, I can't do cage work and stuff at the crib. So getting in and learning cage stuff, Raul being there helping me. If you end up in this position, because jiu-jitsu black belt, Raul. If you end up in this position, this is how you move. This is how you keep yourself safe. And it's like, all right, finding safety here, and just working with different people. Like Nick was super valuable to me, because he helped me find my confidence in standing. Because Nick could box, but Nick don't swing like he be boxing. Nick swing like he just want to knock your shit loose. And him doing that, and me be able to endure it standing. Because I'll grapple a motherfucker quick. Like, if I don't want to punch, I won't. I'll just grab you and take you down. But sometimes that shit don't work. And you done did all that to be tired. Can you stand up and keep yourself safe and also inflict some damage? And I just think through that last fight camp, it was just going through those trials and tribulations, seeing the ups, seeing the downs, questioning myself, but proving the questions right, well, wrong. Because the questions was always bad questions. Because with me being my worst critic, I'm pretty mean to myself. But I learned to give myself a little bit of grace, but not enough grace to be complacent, but enough grace to be like, all right, you did well today. Like, today was cool. You weren't the best, but you aren't shit. Like, you aren't an ass. Like, I'm pretty mean when it comes. If you ever hear me critique people in the gym, I'm not the nicest. Like, if you do some shit ugly, I'm gonna tell you it's ugly. And I feel the same way. Like, if I do something ugly, like, everything can't be cute. It's not a cute sport, but if it's ugly, I'm gonna feel some type of way about it, even if it's me doing it. So, yeah, it was just like constantly just having to prove myself. Like, we could do this. This is the work we doing. The diet's right. Carla got me into journaling, which is, for one, hard as hell because you got to remember to sit down and write shit. I ain't been journaling too much this camp, but I need to. But that was a good little pop. You tried to keep it quiet, but yeah, it was really just the trials and tribulations of the camp, and just overcoming them, and just finding that belief in myself. Like, you aren't sorry and getting to see other amateurs, they kind of sorry. So it was like, you gonna be all right. You gonna be all right for sure.
One of the things that stuck out to me for, when we were talking after this fight is you had a certain expectation. We've seen this guy fight. He moved back a lot. You hit him. He didn't move back, and he kept moving forward. And we talked a little bit how that got in your head a little bit. How were you able to not let that affect you in this fight and stay on course for not only winning, but then you got the finish that you wanted?
I think it was the want for the finish. I knew how disciplined. Like, I believe I was gonna win. Even if I would have won the decision, I probably wouldn't have been the happiest. Just because the whole camp, my focus was finishing people in the rounds and doing it again, finding the finish, even being tired. So with him not backing up, I was like, fuck, this motherfucker really trying to punch me. And he was really trying to knock my shit loose. Every time he was trying to knock my shit loose. And I don't know I don't even think it was like me or anything in my head. It was just my body knowing we want to finish. If the finish presents itself, find the finish. Like, I remember in the third round, you yelling like, I had him mounted. You was yelling not to be complacent with the mount. Because I for sure could have just sat there, breathed out the last 2 minutes, and just got it to the dub. But I went for the Kimura. He was like, yeah, there we go. Start attacking the arm. I'm cool. Attack the Kimura. He rolls over, tries to stand up wrong, and he gave me his neck. So it was really his mistakes. And I think on this next one, I need to work towards making people make mistakes faster so I could get to the finish faster. But I think that was just one of them that just fell into my hands. Because I knew I wasn't going to allow myself to lose, even though with how I was feeling the fatigue of bouncing around, trying to strike so much. But it was really, I wanted to win really, really bad. I wanted to win super duper bad. And because I was feeling like the fatigue, like I don't know if I was so tired, why I was so tired, but I know I just didn't want to lose, and I couldn't lose. And he was for sure something different than what we saw on tape.
Yeah.
But it was the idea of we can't lose. Like I would have me losing that day, man, it would have probably been a rope with me hanging myself from outside. I would have been so lost. Like I would have been just a loser.
I remember the warm ups because you know that was your third fight. You know, so been in the locker room with you for fights before. This was your first fight that you were the only one fighting. So it's like, you know, your first fight with the 3, I was really just on hand wrap duty, you know, so I'd wrap your guys' hands and then, because then that the night someone was in a different corner, right?
My second fight, yeah, they had Snady in the corner
Right
on the other side.
Oh, that was the
Well,
second.
no, yeah, yep.
The second or the first fight?
I think both of those fights, Snady was in opposite corners.
They put you guys in different corners,
Yeah,
right?
because me and Brandon was in the same corner the first fight, and then me and Snady was in opposite corners.
Because that first one, I wrapped Brandon. I went in the order that you guys were fighting. So I wrapped Brandon's hands, and then I wrapped Snady's hands, and then your hands. And by the time I was done wrapping your hands, I had to go out with Brandon. You know, so this was the first fight for you that I got to spend the entire time in the locker room with you and Raul, because Raul and I have been in your corner for all your fights. You know, so now is kind of the warm, and I'm seeing you warm up now, and I'm seeing you throw around Raul. I was like, all right, he's getting this out of his system where he's throwing Raul down. I'm gonna grab the pads. We're gonna just focus on hitting the pads. He's getting all his slams out of the way now. And then I call out 2, bam, bam, and now I'm 6 feet in the air. I was like, yep, he's still, and I can see from the corner of my eye, everybody's looking, because your warm ups are as real to what we do in the gym as they can get. Even when it comes to the times I've seen you warm up for the grappling tournaments, and you take yourself over there. You don't have any of the coaches telling you what to do. You're out there. You're doing the jog. You're doing the skip jumps. You're doing the inside shuffles, outside shuffles. You're doing all of that. You know, and it's the same thing with this one. You know, you're slamming Raul down. You're hitting the pads hard. You're going in for your takedowns. You're taking me down, ground and pound. You're finding your submissions. What's the correlation for you in getting those repetitions to have that routine to make sure that you get the result that you want? And if that routine doesn't happen, because I think that's happened in a few grappling tournaments where you didn't get the warm-up that you wanted because they jumped the time, how do you feel you've grown from that to make sure that even if the routine doesn't happen perfectly, you don't let that affect your mindset on it?
And I think that's something I'm still working on, due to seeing it not work sometimes, or like, all right, I didn't get the warm up. How do I feel? And a lot of the times where I can overcome them just comes from like the grit of like, fuck it, we just gonna bite down on the mouthpiece and just try to just get the dub. But I'm really big on the warm up, and I think that came, when was that? It was a conversation I had with you and Carla, because I kept being late, and I was like, bro, I'm late, and then I come in, I miss the warm up, and I feel like ass the whole day, and I hate feeling like garbage, like, because that just makes practice not fun. And I like having, for one, fun is winning, right? I have the most fun when I'm winning. I have fun when I feel good to where I could, even if I'm not trying hard to win, at least I could partake. But if I feel like ass, I can't even partake in like the easy drills or anything. Like everything's just 10 times harder. So I'm really big on just getting the identical warm-ups, because this is what we know. This is what we do. Stefan helped me warm up for my first grappling. I think it was Stefan and Logan. They helped me warm up for my first grappling tournament. My second grappling tournament, I didn't warm up good. Felt like ass. But it came from me figuring out the cycles. And then what really locked me into these warm-ups is what do it is when I had to coach the grappling, when I got to partake in coaching the grappling tournament. Yeah. And it was like, all right, I helped Ramon warm up, but I didn't help him warm up with body feels. So then when he got in there and he felt the kid was all spazzing and shit, but his body still had to get used to like the strength of being tugged on and pulled on. So then I was like, all right, for the next, I think it was Eric and Anthony. It was like, I think, wasn't like Rodney and Nigel was there. It was like, all right, for these next people, y'all gonna feel body contact It's pissing me off. Y'all gonna feel body contact plus the warm up so that y'all are ready for all these aspects of it. Like we got the heart rate ready to be explosive. Now you need to feel somebody tugging at your head with force, so you know that feel, because you don't want the first time you feel it is in real time. And yeah, that all came from just the experiences of doing it wrong and like just learning and having to do it over for sure.
So now we got your fourth fight coming up August 7th, Hard Rock Casino in Gary, Indiana. They just announced right before we started filming that you got UFC veteran Eddie Wineland as a special guest commentator for this event. How are you feeling going into fight number 4? You felt losing, you felt winning, you've kind of seen both sides of it, what it takes to win, the mistakes you've done for losing. How are you feeling? Where's your mindset going into this 4th fight?
For this one, it's the same as the last one. Be first. Be first, keep yourself safe, and work towards a finish. I don't have an ideal finish. I just, for one, I want to get the dub, and I just want to get a finish. I think finishes are better than decisions, for one, because you just don't have to do the whole time. But yeah, I feel confident. Like the nerves are going to be there for sure. But it's really, especially with this being amateurs, it's a lot of trials and working through things and just trying to be the best version of yourself. So it's really just, right now, I haven't got 2 wins in a row. So this is me working to get my 2 wins in a row. Bro is undefeated. He 2-0. I'm treating him as if I was to fight Brandon, because Brandon is 2-0. So I'm going to take his 0, and then this is me. This is me taking Brandon's 0 from him. Even though it's all love for Brandon, but I just need that. That's my push. Like I'm doing this to take the 0 from Brandon, so that people can't think he's better than me.
And we're gonna see Brandon back at the gym the
yeah,
day after this comes out.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my motivation for sure. Like I want to take Brandon 0 from him. I want to finish, bro. He probably think he nice because he 2-0. He probably, but it's like just doing the work, because I don't want to feel I know how I feel to lose. I'm not a fan of what I'm gonna feel like losing, and I just constantly want to be the better version of myself. People that saw my last fight, like from the side view, they still ain't. They take forever to post the damn fights. Step it up, Maximus. But it's like I just want to look better. Like I want to look like I'm improving. I want to look like we doing. I want people to see that we're doing the right things at the gym. We getting in the right work done. Because it's a small gym. Nobody really knows about it. Every time I tell people I'm training at work, where's Warrior Evolution? I hate when people ask me where that shit at, bro. I want people to know. We gonna be, because we got dogs. Like Aaron's nice, Leo's nice, Logan's nice, Stefan's nice, Nick's nice, Anthony's nice. Like we got nice from top to bottom. Like people that's coming in, we got some good people. We ain't got too many. We getting more competitors. Y'all gonna learn about a friend. We got dogs. Brandon's nice. He ain't better than me, but he nice, and he a dog. Snady's nice. Like, and I think it's a disjustice for people not to know who he is. Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm not a fan of people not knowing what we do. I've always come from small programs. Every program I've ever been in has been a small program, and I've always felt disrespected because people just didn't know. And I take it pridefully. I'm all right. Don't know, you gonna know. And I take it pridefully every time.
I would always have private conversations with people and tell them, this is the first time I'm gonna say it out loud, that we are the best gym that people haven't heard of. And we've been on the verge for a long time. I've said it for years now. We're on the cusp of getting known. We're on the cusp of doing something big. I was like, I just need people that are disciplined enough and committed enough that aren't going to quit before they make it to that. And I truly believe you are the one that's leading the charge for that. And you're going to take the gym to the next level of being known. Because immediately after this last fight that you had, I started getting messages from a bunch of promoters looking for you to fight on their card. One of them being a professional card, so, and that's how we got the quick turnaround with August 7th, is because they came looking for me to get you on the card. So I truly believe that you are leading the charge. You have the athleticism, you have the coachability, you have the mindset, you have the camaraderie and community based mindset. I think is what a lot of gyms are missing, because a lot of gyms have great fighters, a lot of gyms have great reputations and stuff, but you're trying to go beyond that, and you kind of see the culture that we're trying to build. And I think we've had those conversations before, and the what I see in you, just beyond as a fighter, So I thank you for coming on here to do the podcast. I thank you for being a leader of the gym and representing the gym well every time, even wins or losses. You've always represented us well. You didn't complain, you didn't like the losses, but it's not like you were making excuses about it. You didn't point any fingers at anybody. You still found ways to inspire people after losses, so I'm highly looking forward to continuing to work with you, and seeing your growth in the sport and in just life in general. I was so happy when I saw you guys get engaged. I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, this is because I'm gonna put over your fiance real quick, because you came up to me at one of the grappling tournaments and asked me, what can I do at home to make sure he's the best fighter he can be, and that's just, you don't see that from people at home. You don't see that kind of support, and everyone just assumes, like you kept alluding to people expecting you to be Superman. You can't. It's impossible to be Superman every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without the right people, and it sounds like you've surrounded yourself with good people. I'm just happy that you're with us and you're on our side of things to kind of take us to that next level, because I really see it, so I got big plans. I'm not going to put it out there because, we're one step at a time type of people. So why don't you let people know where they can find you on social media if they want to follow your journey, and anything else, any last things you gotta say to the people?
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Lawson. Well, what is it? Lawson _DA_ Messiah. You can find me on TikTok at UFB_Lawson. That's why I post majority of the things, because I'll be too nervous to post it on Instagram, because I know a lot of people on Instagram. I don't want to spam them, Not really my main two things. And this is just a message for my future self. Today we gonna do things so we could be great later. And I'm gonna keep learning how to sacrifice today so I could be greater later. So hopefully I live up to what I believe I could do. I think I can inspire a good group of people, because I think I'm a good person, and I think I'm gonna keep doing the things I need to do to be great. It might suck, but when I'm listening back to this, when I'm made it really big and doing what we doing, and that no matter, by any means, I think I'm gonna be pretty proud of what we done accomplished for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't even want to say anything, because I think we should just end it off that. So you can subscribe. You guys know all the Instagram handles on our side. Thank you, Jeremiah, again, for being on here, inspiring everybody as always. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you all back next week.
Bye.